Okay, so we have a 2005 Subaru Outback. If you look right here, you can see there's an engine code. It's an EJ253 engine, and then the CVAFB. It's a California emissions car. One of the things you'll notice on these California ones is everything's in line with the alternator, and the distributor is in the middle, whereas on a lot of these EJs, the distributor's back here, the intake manifold looks much different. It took me a while to find this engine, and I ended up finding one at a salvage yard, used. It cost me $1,800. But it's in good shape, has 90,000 miles on it. The current car has 172,000 miles on it, and it developed a really terrible sound from low oil. And basically, I think the piston 4 is either destroyed or mangled or damaged severely. There's some serious tapping going on. It's not in good shape. So we're going to pull it out and put in the new one. Unfortunately, I had just done the heads on this one about 12 to 15,000 miles ago. So it was a bummer that I just did all this stuff recently, but you got to do what you got to do. So we're going to put this one in, and I might want to paint this up. For whatever reason, they made it out of steel, and I have some rust encapsulator. I might paint it. Looks like this one's starting to rust out on this engine a little bit. So yeah, so the first thing I'm going to start with is taking off the everything having to do with the intake up to the throttle body and or the air induction, and then I'm going to drain the radiator fluid, and I'm going to try to clean up everything so I can reuse it, because again, I just redid all the fluids, everything in this thing 15,000 miles ago, and there's no reason not to reuse it. And then I'm going to have to take off all the pieces that the engine didn't come with: alternator, compressor, everything else, the mount, so that I can hoist it up with the cherry picker and get to swapping. So one other thing that it's kind of deep into the process of removing the engine, but I'll just mention it. There is a tool. It's Subaru. It holds a torque converter in when you pull the engine out, basically. And I didn't use that the first time I removed this engine. That tool basically keeps you from smashing your oil pump on your transmission when you put it back in. So I can't really find that tool anywhere, and they want like $200 for it. It's basically just a piece of metal that'll hold it in toward the transmission while you pull the engine out. And I think if you raise the engine and transmission and pull it out pretty straight, you're not going to rip the torque converter out with it. The torque converter is insanely hard to reseat on these. It's like a 3-step process. So I don't know, when I get to that, there'll be a lot of explanation as to what I'm doing and how I'm going to try to not do the exact same thing I did before and mess up my oil pump in my transmission, which I had to have replaced. Ended up costing me like $700. So this is going to be a different process. So I think I might try to do, well, that's about it for now.